you've been known for playing so many iconic people now. When was a role that you've played that you feel you loved, but it wasn't as well known, or it was something that maybe wasn't as successful, but that you really found that you just fell in love with it and that it became a part of you?
I'm gonna say Holly Gibney in The Outsider, although that did pretty well.
Yeah, it did well.
That did pretty well. I've loved the roles that I've played, and I picked them really specifically because I want to get to know this person. I always say this, if I haven't met this person before, either on screen or in life, I'd like to meet them. So that's why I play them. I want to get to know who they are and what makes them tick. And Holly was just so different. She was very hard to shake. She was a woman who found it hard to communicate, but really all she wanted was connection. And so had to learn to find ways to make herself understood. And when she was misunderstood, would be deeply hurt by it. Extremely intelligent, a brilliant, brilliant mind, but also deeply loving in the most individual way. And I just had never played anyone like her before. And what's wonderful about that particular role is I get everyone from every different type of walk of life in any place, sort of going, that show that you did on HBO with Holly Gibney, that I loved it. She was one of my favorites. Or
wow.
I remember a person said to me, he was connecting with his sister more because of this particular role, and realized that, oh, my sister just communicates in a different way than I do. And this was the thing that joined us together. And I thought that's what it's about. Making pieces that allow people to connect with each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love hearing that as well, because it's what I appreciate about our conversation last time, as I was saying earlier. It was like the way you think about characters and the way you get into them. I'm fascinated by that. And I love geeking out, and like, I love seeing people obsessed with their art.
Yeah.
Like I that's what gets me excited in life.
Yeah.
It's like when I meet someone who's obsessed about what they do, because I'm obsessed with what I do.
Yeah.
And I can never understand how you obsess over the things you do. Can you describe to me again, because you told me about this last time, but I want to hear it again on purpose for this community, because you were talking about how, like, when you're playing roles, you're looking at how people walk.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and how they talk to figure out their pitch, and then like the rhythm of their walk and the pace of it. And I was just like, I would never think of any of that, but
because
it
tells you so much.
Yeah, so
about
walk
what
us through, like,
feeling.
when you meet a new character.
Yeah,
walk us through how you understand them.
Yeah,
better.
so when I meet a new character, obviously I'll read a script, and the first thing I think of is, what is the rhythm of this person? Usually, there's a rhythm sort of written in the way they speak, in the way in their syntax and the words they use. When you find that rhythm, you sort of find their internal, like, heartbeat. You find their heartbeat, and then I'm sort of like, well, how do they move? What is it that they're looking for? Is there an urgency to how they move? If they walk fast, are they moving away from something? Are they trying to get to something quickly? Do they think fast? Or if they move slowly, are they apprehensive about something? Or are they really laid back about things? Do they have nothing to worry about? If they're anxious, maybe that's why they move fast. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they're so anxious that they are paralyzed, that they can't move at all. So they move really slowly, because what if I get there and something happens? And so I just sort of like find what fits on this person. And then it's about, well, how do they speak? If they are confident, well, maybe they don't need to make themselves sound really sweet. And so their voices aren't as high pitch. Or maybe they are sort of held, and so they're a little bit quiet, and things feel a little bit whispered. And there was a really interesting documentary about Princess Diana, and she's really fun to listen to, because her voice changes as the years go by. When you first meet her, it's almost like she's whispering and swallowing the words, and she doesn't really use her mouth very much, and it's very quiet and very reserved. And as you meet her, as the years go by, when she's sort of like, now I know who I am, she starts to use her mouth more. So she sounds really rounded. And that's sort of what you're discovering about these people. Yeah. And I love that. I love trying to find out, what is this person? How do they grow? And do they grow through meeting them, and through these episodes or through the film? Does it change? Does it shift? Do they move more confidently? Do they move more smoothly? Are they quick? Are they darted? So many questions I would ask myself. And then silly things like, what scent do they use? Because we all have sense memory. So if there's a particular scent they use, is it because it reminds them of something? And when I put that scent on, does it make me think of something? Or do they like makeup? And if they do like makeup, is there a particular way they do it? Do they want their eyebrows messy? Or do they want them very tidy? When they put the clothes on, are they looking for comfort or not? With Holly, I always wore a button up because it felt like protection. Her neck was covered. And she always wore comfortable shoes so she could move easily and she wouldn't think about her feet. But those things are, they change. With Aretha, she needed heels and she needed a look. And she did her eyebrows particularly, and they were a particular shape with an inky black line, And with Celie, it changed. When she put trousers on, she could walk better, and she had a thick, blocky heel that meant that she could make sound when she moved. Before then, she was in a shorter heel that was like a soft shoe that made no sound at all. So it meant that she could move really quickly, because if she didn't move quickly, she'd be in danger. So it's about that. Yeah. How do you find all the things that make this person a round person, so that when you meet them on screen, you're like, oh, I can see this person and they're 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, and not just someone that I read a script on.